Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and we're going to do something different today. We're going to be on the lathe for a little bit, and we're going to try something. I was working on my buddy's truck, the silver truck, the dolly crew cab, and what had happened to his truck was his plunger that you lock the door, that goes up and down when you lock your door. It's got that automatic door lock, electric door lock, and it broke off and got caught underneath there, and I think it caused the motor to go bad on the lock. I'm not sure, but we do know that the lock cylinder isn't working no more. So rather than him having to go buy a set of those little plastic things that screws down on that, I thought I'd try my hand at making a set, or making one. And we're going to try to match this up, and that's what they look like, and it's just old plastic. Why they make stuff out of plastic, and especially something that's going to be moving all the time, and we're going to try to make that. So what I did, I found a piece of black pipe, well, steel pipe, or steel stock, and this here measures 5/16, so I cut a piece that was the same length and turned it down to 5/16. Now it's not the best cut in the world because my blades are getting dull, so it kind of looks rough. So I'm going to try to file it down a little bit, but anyway, we're going to check this up, and we're going to try to make it look just like that one, with that little indent in it, the void, because the threads only go up to about right there, and it doesn't really need to go all that far, because I know my tap's not going to go all the way in it. Hopefully I don't break a tap off. So right now we're at the point where we're going to center drill this, so we'll meet you at the lathe. So now we're going to chuck this up in the lathe. And center drill it. Well, I think that's crooked. I thought that felt wrong. Can't even put a drill bit in the bit chuck. Don't y'all laugh at me now. Alright. So now we want to go in about that deep. So I'm going to put that drill bit in so now we'll drill it out. Alright, now we're going to turn it around and we're going to do this part right here and try to round that off. Oh, you see that? Did you see that? Broke right off. Well, back to the drawing board. So let me get back to that point. You know what? We're not even going to put that in there. We're going to make another one, and we're not going to put that in there. The front ones don't have it. The only ones that has it is the rear ones. So you just seen that that wasn't going to work. As soon as I went to chamfer it, it put too much pressure on it and broke it. So we're going to start all over and do it again. I learned something, that first I want to do the round part first, which is this part. So we're going to do that part first. So let's get started. Alright, now we've got the round part done. Looks pretty good. Now we've got to turn it down to 5/16. Now yes, it's going to have a little more sticking out than I'd like, but if you take really light cuts, like about 5/16 or 5 millimeters at a time, should be fine. Alright, we are there. Now we're going to take and stick this back in the chuck a little bit further. It's a little warm. Let me cool it down a little bit. So now we've got our round piece at the end, and now we're going to take and see if we can't stick that in a little bit further. And yes, I know that you don't stick a lot out. You don't want as much sticking out any more than you need to hold it so that it doesn't flex. But because I wanted that to be solid all the way across, in fact, let's file that down a little bit. Let's smooth that out a little bit. Now, because I broke that off like that, and the way I done that is I went ahead and did this part right here, this section, and it weakened it. When I went to go do this, it caught and then snapped it off. So that's why we done the round part first. But, you know, sitting here thinking, the ones on the front don't even have that. So I think that it would be best to just leave that straight like that. I don't see any purpose of that except to save material. I'm not trying to save material. I want it to be Bison tough. I don't want it to be Ford tough. Because Ford tough is not Bison tough. Bison tough is tougher than Ford tough. You guys got that? Don't you forget it. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this over to the bandsaw. We're going to cut it off. And we'll be right back. When you're cutting short pieces like this that don't go very far past the jaw, you have to have something in there that's the same size to make it think that it's a long piece. So we're going to just stick that in there just like that on the other side, and then we're going to stick this in here just like that, and we're going to put that where we want it, just like so. In fact, I'm going to take it out just a little bit further, and then we're going to face it off once we're done, because this is smaller round than this piece. So this is actually sitting in there at an angle. So to counter that angle, we're going to leave a little extra on there so that when we put it back in there, we can face it and then it'll be square. So now we just go ahead and tighten this bad boy up. Make sure it's good and tight. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and put that back in the lathe. And this time, since we're facing it, we're just going to leave a little bit sticking out. And all we're going to do is face that little lip off. Alright, now we've got that faced off, nice and pretty. Now we're going to move this compound out of the way. We'll find out how deep we want it now. That's how deep we want it. Put a little bit of Earl on it. Alright, now the next thing we got to do is find out what the threads are on this. We already got the size, we just need to find out what the threads is. So as soon as I find that out, we'll be right back. Alright, we've got the appropriate tap. So now, let's get this thing as far out of our way as we possibly can. And let's start tapping. Alright, now we've got it in far enough that now we can take it back out of the chuck. Slide this out of the way. Get this clear out of the way. Alright. Now, we'll clean that off with some gasoline, and we'll paint that thing black. And you will never know the difference between the metal one and the plastic one. It's threaded and ready to go on. So now we need to find a bolt that's big enough to screw in there, or that's the same size to screw in there to hold it so we can paint it. Alright, so we found something to screw in there. It's got a stud on it, and then we're just taking and put it in our little vice grips here. Shaker can. Hey, crafted, I'm doing that wrong. And then we'll take that and put her in there, hang it up, and what do you think? It's metal. No one would know that that wasn't plastic. So we'll hang that right there just like so, and tomorrow we'll put it on. I hope you guys enjoyed that little project. I might make a matching one to put on the other side, but you get the point. Get out there in your shop, do something. Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard to do that, and sometimes you got to drag yourself to do it. And a lot of times I do have to drag myself to do things, but for the most part, you got to do what you got to do. Saved the man a few bucks, and I had to take the latch out of it and grease it up and clean it and free all the things up because it was locked up. That door was locked to where you couldn't open the door from the inside or the outside. And it'd been like that for so long that the wasp nest went and made a home in there, and one of them stung me here and one of them stung me here, and we spent the rest of the day killing frickin' wasps. So it's cold now, so when I finally did get the door open, had to take the seat out of the back of the crew cab just to get the panel off the door so I can get in there and try to free it up. But that was broke off, so I decided to make them one. So there you go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share. You guys have a good one. Later.